Beloved Saints, today's 5-minute message of redemptive history is about Jeroboam in the history of the kings of Israel from the 4th book of Redemptive History series, God's Profound and Mysterious Providence. After Solomon's death, his son Jeroboam became king in his place. The people requested that Jeroboam lighten the hard service and the heavy yoke of his father. This was referring to the tremendous labor the kingdom had suffered during the reign of Solomon. But when Jeroboam refused the request of the people, 10 tribes enthroned Jeroboam as their king and established the northern kingdom of Israel. Thus, the kingdom was divided into the southern kingdom of Judah and the northern kingdom of Israel. At this time in part 1, let us examine how Jeroboam held on to human thoughts instead of God's promise. In 1 Kings 11 verse 38, God spoke through the prophet Ahijah and promised to Jeroboam, saying, "Then it will be that if you listen to all that I command you and walk in my ways and do what is right in my sight by observing my statutes and my commandments, as my servant David did, then I will be with you and build you an enduring house as I built for David, and I will give Israel to you." However, after becoming king, Jeroboam built Shechem and Penuel to fortify his royal authority. Moreover, he was caught up in human thoughts and made 2 golden calves, one in Bethel and the other in Dan, in order to prevent the people of Israel from going to Jerusalem to offer sacrifices. Jeroboam set up the golden calves as the new center of faith in order to completely cut off the people from the southern kingdom of Judah and maintain his interest, whether in politics or religion. This was simply an act to satisfy his own greed and desires. Ultimately, this became a tremendous sin which would drag all of Israel down a tragic path. Godly priests and Levites who were opposed to such idolatrous policies of Jeroboam left their pasture lands and property and moved to Jerusalem. In response, Jeroboam built high places and drove out the Levites. Then he appointed priests from among the people who were not of the Levites. This was a great sin that went against the word of God, which specified that the priesthood was to be given to the sons of Aaron. Jeroboam consecrated and appointed as priest anyone who would bring a young bull and 7 rams. Moreover, Jeroboam moved the Feast of Tabernacles, which was normally held on the 15th day of the 7th month, to the 15th day of the 8th month, according to his own desire. Everyone, if Jeroboam had trusted in the promises of God and did what was right in his sight by observing his statutes and commandments, then God would have been with him and built him an enduring house. However, Jeroboam turned away from God and held on to fleshly thoughts. Consequently, his life was completely ruined. Romans chapter 8 verses 5 to 8 states, "Those who live according to the flesh have their mind set on what the flesh desires, but those who live in accordance with the Spirit have their mind set on what the Spirit desires. The mind governed by the flesh is death, but the mind governed by the Spirit is life and peace. The mind governed by the flesh is hostile to God. It does not submit to God's law, nor can it do so. Those who are in the flesh cannot please God." Beloved saints, let us learn from today's word, rejecting firmly our human thoughts and holding only onto God's promise, and be blessed. I bless in the name of the Lord.